Hello and welcome back to step 7 of working your way out of anxiety, just trying to help tackle those uncomfortable times of feeling anxious if I can. Now, today's step is actually one of the hardest and most uncomfortable things to do. So it's sitting with the shame, knowing that it's okay to do this. It can be really, really tough when you're on a journey. Quite often, as I've already mentioned, anxiety becomes the thing that covers a symptom, and through life we build up so many different layers around ourselves of shame, things that we're embarrassed by, things we feel we possibly shouldn't have done, that we don't feel comfortable talking about. But whether you want to talk to someone about this or just simply need to be able to sit with it for you to let that rise, I have found for me, and again these videos are through my personal experience of dealing with anxiety, how bad it's been for me, and the aim is just to, if you suffer with anxiety and got over it and then you go into those spirals, I'm just trying to provide tips of how I have got out of it or what's helped for me. So this really difficult step to take, not often comfortable, and sometimes talking to people about it is tough, it's hard, but I have found that for me writing and journaling has been a saviour. The page is the place that listens when no one else does, really. I can write freely what comes up for me, anything that's been uncomfortable, reasons why I might be anxious, why I ended up in that cycle in the first place, where it came from, where it might have started. And knowing that this is hard, particularly if you're already feeling anxious and worried, the thought of then bringing other stuff up can be difficult. So please obviously do these steps in your own time. But for me, knowing that it's okay to have a space to sit with how I'm feeling, whatever that is, if it's shame or something like that, or just past issues really that are difficult to face head on or look in the eye. But it's really important when you're trying to work through something, even when you are anxious, there's often something behind that anxiety that's triggered it. So an example for me, let me try and think of something to share that's not too long-winded, but I could be having a really difficult day. I might not feel good enough and I might need to talk to someone about something. And as that approaches, I might start feeling really anxious around that. And then I might get a pain in my body. I would start to obsess about that pain. And then the pain would become the problem. So it could be a health concern. My health anxiety would kick in, because that's what I suffered severely with. And all the while buried under that, it might be embarrassment about not feeling good enough from where I might have felt not good enough in the past, when I was young, at school, in situations, not good enough as the next person. So all of these things have led me to a point of feeling worried. Then I feel the pain in my body, latch onto that, and then the anxiety becomes the problem. So the initial problem is gone, the actual problem that I buried down, the shame of it. Because that's harder to face and the anxiety has taken over. So spending a tiny bit of time just to sit with that, it just helps you remove yourself out and at least notice those patterns, notice and gradually work through. So I hope that helps. For me, that's been one of the hardest but almost most beneficial steps when I'm anxious, to look head on, to sit with those uncomfortable feelings. And that's why I'm really passionate about mindfulness and meditation, which is what my previous series of videos was about, because it was through the mindfulness and meditation I was able to sit with those uncomfortable feelings, and then in turn the anxiety softened and dispersed. So really important step there. If you can do it, brilliant. If you can't yet, if it doesn't feel good for you, there's so many other things you can do, but for me it was a really, really important step to take, and that's why I'm sharing it here with you. So I hope you find that useful and give it a try if you can, even if it's just writing something down and burning it, but just to allow yourself to sit with it and in time you'll be able to move through.